Good evening, you gorgeous lot. Come in, close the door, turn the lights down low, because tonight we're sliding headfirst into the softest, stickiest, most deliciously deranged painting of the 20th century. Salvador Dalí's The Persistence of Memory. You know the one, those limp clocks dribbling over branches and tabletops like camembert left out in the sun. It's tiny, only about this big, holds hands a foot apart, but it's been living rent-free in the world's head for nearly 100 years. Why? Because it looks exactly like the moment just before you wake up, when time has stopped bothering to be time. Let's start where Dalí started, on the cliffs of Cape Creus in Catalonia, that jagged lunar coastline he loved so much it became the backdrop for half his nightmares. One stifling evening in 1931, he's sitting at the dinner table with Gala, his wife, his muse, his tyrant, his everything, eating a supper that ends with an exceptionally runny camembert. The cheese is practically waving goodbye to solidity. Dalí stares at it, transfixed. He later said the sight of that collapsing cheese gave him the key to the whole picture. He rushes upstairs, shoves aside the painting he'd been working on, a boring old landscape, primes a fresh little panel, and in 2 hours, he paints the melting clocks. No sketches, no second thoughts, just pure molten inspiration. But don't let anyone tell you this is just a dream painting. Dalí hated being called a dreamer. He insisted he was the opposite, a paranoid, critical maniac who painted with one eye wide open. The paranoid critical method, his own bonkers invention, went like this. You deliberately drive yourself half insane with suspicion and obsession until the world starts to double expose itself, like a film with two reels running at once. Then you freeze that hallucination on canvas with the cold precision of a Swiss watchmaker. So yes, the clocks look floppy and useless, but look closer. Every highlight, every shadow, every ant crawling on the metal case is painted with obsessive, almost photographic sharpness. It's a contradiction in the paint itself. Ultra-real technique showing the total collapse of reality. That's the Dalí trick. Now, those clocks. People always ask what do they mean, as if Dalí ever gave a straight answer. He gave hundreds. Sometimes he said they were camembert. Sometimes he said they were Einstein's theory of relativity made visible, soft watches for soft, bendy space-time. Sometimes he claimed they were impotence, his own sexual anxieties draped over the landscape like wet laundry. All of those are true, and none of them are the whole truth. The real point is that time, which we treat as the hardest, most reliable thing in the universe, has gone flaccid. It no longer ticks forward with Protestant efficiency. It sags, it pools, it forgets to leave the party. And we recognise that feeling instantly because we've all lived it in dreams, in grief, in love, in those long afternoons when nothing happens and 3 hours feel like 3 minutes or 3 centuries. Look at the centre of the picture. There's that creepy, half-melted thing. Looks like a deflated face or a tongue or a sleeping monster. Dalí said it was a self-portrait, his own profile, eyes closed, eyelashes like spider legs, nose squashed against the ground. It's the dreamer himself, dissolved into the landscape, and draped over it is the softest watch of all, hanging like a saddle on a dead horse. Time isn't just melting, it's dead, or at least having a very long nap. Meanwhile, in the far left corner, one single watch is still hard, still closed, still functioning, but it's being eaten alive by ants. Dalí had a horror of ants. To him, they were the sound of time gnawing away at everything solid. So even the working clock is under attack. Nothing escapes. And then there's the landscape itself. Those bare, bony cliffs are real. You can stand on them today near Cadaqués and see exactly the same horizon. But Dalí has emptied the sea, turned it into a mirror-smooth slab, and floated a weird rectangular plinth in the distance like a forgotten stage set. The light is impossible, coming from everywhere and nowhere, the colour of late insomnia. It's a world that has forgotten how to be a proper world, and yet every grain of sand, every crack in the plinth, every reflection in the puddle is painted with lunatic care. Dalí is showing off. Look, I can paint reality better than reality, and then I can make reality give up and ooze. People love to call this surrealism, but Dalí had already been kicked out of the official Surrealist Club by 1931. André Breton, the Pope of Surrealism, called him Avida Dollars, an anagram of Salvador Dalí, because he was already shamelessly selling out, signing blank sheets for print dealers, designing jewellery, flirting with Hollywood. Dalí's reply was basically, yes, and... He wanted to be both the high priest of the unconscious and the richest, most famous artist alive. The melting clocks helped him do exactly that. Within a couple of years, the painting was on the cover of magazines, printed on ties, parodied in cartoons. It became the Mona Lisa of the 20th century. Everyone recognises it, nobody quite knows why it matters so much. But it does matter, because every time you look at it, something shifts inside your head. You remember that time isn't a Swiss railway timetable. It's elastic. It stretches when you're bored in double maths. It snaps shut when you're kissing someone for the first time. It melts entirely when someone you love dies, and the days just lie there like dead fish. Dalí didn't invent that feeling, but he gave it the perfect image. A pocket watch that has given up pretending to be a pocket watch. And here's the darkest bit. The bit most people miss. In the bottom left corner, there's a dead olive tree, snapped off, with one limp clock hanging from a branch like a hanged man. Dalí's Catalonia was tearing itself apart even as he painted this, civil war only 5 years away. The whole country was about to melt. Empires were melting. Certainty was melting. Freud had already shown that the human mind was a slippery, treacherous thing. Einstein had shown that time itself was negotiable. And then little Salvador, with his mad eyes and his upturned moustache, comes along and paints the apocalypse as a quiet afternoon where the clocks have simply got too hot and bothered to carry on. So next time you see a reproduction on a student wall or a tote bag, don't just giggle at the wobbly clocks. Stand in front of it, even if it's only on your phone, and let the silence in. Let the ants tick. Let the sea forget to move. Let time drip off the edge of the table and splat on the floor. Because Dalí, that glorious, ridiculous show-off, managed to trap the exact moment when the modern world looked at itself in the mirror and realised the mirror had started to run. And on that cheerfully disturbing note, I'll leave you to dream with your eyes open. Until next time, keep your watches soft and your realities negotiable. Good night.